Welcome to Align Trading, going over today's SPY recap and live analysis before taking a look at what to be watching into tomorrow. So first thing that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members today was to be watching for the breakout of this blue and yellow algorithm. If we were to grab this shoulder of liquidity right here and form this, we could look for us to fill that cup back up at that 600 level. From there, right, maybe another blue and yellow controlled selling algorithm for a handle. Otherwise, you have to be paying attention to this inverse cup that we formed right here yesterday. And we talked about how we could be possibly building this handle right here towards the end of the day. Ran out of time, but you can see here in the morning, we finally formed that head and shoulder right here and start heading down towards our target of the 5-day moving average. And then we end up actually forming another head and shoulder and get the move below, completing this inverse cup right here. Now, as before, if we were to continue right here down to this 593 level with this inverse cup, we would not only need to see this handle right here, but also that orange selling continuation from before that I talked about in the pre-market brief that you would want to be seeing right here. You see that move down, right? We formed that flag. Same thing with the orange. Could have done the same thing, but could not continue. And instead, you see how there is this tapering, which we will go over on the 1-minute chart as well. We break out of this orange back inside of this yellow right here. And then you have this blue tapering as well. And then you can also see how we bounced off of this white algo right here that we want to be seeing breaking down if we are to continue to 593 or lower and filling this gap. So now here on the 1-minute chart, going over the microstructure and algorithms. So first thing here in the morning, we have this blue and yellow controlled selling that we see starting to form right there for this initial inverse head and shoulder back to this level up here, that 599 that we talked about, right? That we would want to see us grabbing that liquidity and heading up, continuing to complete this cup at 600, which we could not do. And you see with this green buying algorithm right there, we start to taper with that white and form this head and shoulder. Now we want to see us breaking below this level, right, for that head and shoulder, closing maybe an inverse cup before a smaller handle, and then seeing that dump, which we do finally see right here. So it just takes a minute longer, but as I'm explaining here, if you are looking for this breakout, and this is to be a flag to continue to 600, right, pay attention to the yellow and blue controlled selling and that inverse head and shoulder, and you can see we cannot form that right there. So it is a good clue that we are weak. And then look at that head and shoulder right there. Beautiful for that first move to the downside. Now, could have protected some right here, of course. Once again, right, you have that green algo tapering within this white. When we start to form this head and shoulder here once again, cannot break down quite yet, but similar to before, right? Just takes another bounce. We form that head and shoulder right there. Close the inverse cup. From there, this handle starts to form within this white again. So a bit choppy, but you can see, right, we are not breaking back up and forming this inverse cup right here. Excuse me, inverse head and shoulder, and then forming that cup back to the upside. So as we continue down, it is a bit choppy, right, from before right here as well. Bit choppy, a bit slow, but as I'm explaining here, you can see every time we try to rip within this white algo, we continue to form this head and shoulder on the way down, right? You see this white algo just continuing to take us down towards that 596 target. Why 596? That is our 5-day moving average, which you can see as well as this inverse cup first level, right? We get that bounce initially that I talked about before we get more orange selling continuation. But same thing, right? If you're looking for this inverse head and shoulder, as I'm explaining right here, every time that we try breaking out of this tapering algo, it continues to fail right here. Same thing, right? That's another fail, the same thing, right? Got to be paying attention to that. head and shoulder, head and shoulder. All right, they're all within here. So just trying to help you guys understand. And then we're also going to go over here in just a minute what it looks like to the upside with the green algorithm. And if you haven't watched yesterday's video, you can watch. It's the same exact setup. Breakout of this blue algo that we are in right here. And you will see how it forms here in a minute. But on the way down, right, same thing if you are looking for that rip. Gotta be seeing us breaking out of that blue algo. And then you also want to be paying attention. Do we start to break down? Does it get more aggressive, which happens here as well? But, right, can see that there is this support right here. And you're wanting to target that on the way down, right? Get a bounce off of it. Same thing, right? Move down, another bounce off of it until we get that aggressive move to the very bottom of this blue algo right there, which ends up being the very bottom for the day. And we start heading back up right here, finally breaking out of that blue. And it's not random, right? Can see this yellow, can see that blue tapering right there. And then look at this, gives you even a handle right here initially for that cup. Now, this was the 5-day moving average right here, so we form this cup back to the 5-day. Get your handle right there, and you start to see that move back up. Now, as I'm explaining here as well on the 30-minute chart with the 5-day being right here, getting this move below it, well, what we want to be seeing here is now with the inverse cup, gotta be seeing that handle that we talked about, right? If we're forming that, otherwise we can start to head back up right here. This is that 5-day retest we have been talking about in the previous few videos for the last couple of days, because we have been at this upper Bollinger and we are looking for this 5-day retest, which has been due, and we finally got that today. But as we're talking about right here, this still can be controlled selling with that bounce off the 5-day. See how that inverse head and shoulder starts to form. And now we will be looking at this into tomorrow, which we'll go over here if we do start to break out. Otherwise, we will want to lose that 5-day. This still can be some sort of handle right here, but gotta lose that 5-day or close another cup back to that low, and then so on down to this 593 and lower. Now, as I said, I was going to talk about here with the green algorithms and the same as the yellow, right, guiding us down within the white. Same thing, right? You can see how this green algo starts. We got that blue and yellow controlled selling. You have your inverse head and shoulder. Once again, this green algo, blue and yellow controlled selling, another inverse head and shoulder right there. You have your green still continuing to work right here. Blue and yellow controlled selling again. You have another inverse head and shoulder. And then once again, right, that green continues to work. Now here at the end of the day, I did explain that with this tapering red channel right here, you could be looking for this head and shoulder to form. And if it wanted to close that inverse cup and give you a move, you could be looking for it. And you see that's exactly what happened. Same thing with that white and yellow as from before, right, as it guides us down. And you start to see that move to the downside as I'm talking about if we do want to start to head back below that 5-day. Otherwise, this can just be controlled selling within this blue. We ran out of time, but if we did want to start heading back up here, breaking out and closing that cup to 599. Now going over tomorrow. So as we've been talking about with this 5-day, gotta be watching that if we do start to form something like that tomorrow and do head back towards that 600. Otherwise, look for this to be forming right here below the 5-day, form an inverse cup back to this level right here, and then see the move down to 593. And if we can break that 593, look for this gap to close right here. And then just on the longer term, right, as we talked about with this, if we do not get that bounce right here, possibly be looking for a move back to the downside here. And if we can hold below that 5-day, right, can't regain it, well, the move is going to be back to this 20. Maybe we retest that head back down from the election, you would see how that would start to form right here with this larger inverse cup right there. First thing though, as I'm talking about, gotta break this. Then if we close the gap, maybe we get the reversal right there. Otherwise, if we break both of those levels, be watching for us to head down. Could start to form something like this. And then ultimately, if we were to break down even lower, now we do have CPI tomorrow, and we will probably start with a gap up or gap down. So just be paying attention to that, understand where we are and what's going on here. But that is all I have for the video. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see members in the morning.